Hello, welcome to the channel and thanks for watching. In this video I'm going to show you how to play HeroQuest quickly and easily. HeroQuest is a game for 5 players. One player takes on the role of Zargon, the evil sorcerer, which you see in his little setup behind his gaming screen here. If less than 5 people are playing, one person still plays as Zargon, the rest of the players can control more than one hero. So when you set up as Zargon, you sit behind a Games Master's screen, you control the quest of other players and you know where the monsters, secret doors, treasures and traps are in the labyrinth as shown on the map you've seen before. Now remember, the quest book is for your eyes only if you're playing Zargon, but there are sections of each quest that you must read to the players, and that tells you through the book as you're going through. You always start on quest 1, the trial. You play that first. You need to read the rules if you're playing Zargon, and it outlines kind of their challenge and what you do and how you go. Now remember, when you're playing the game, every character gets to play, then Zargon plays, then the characters get to play again. But in this demonstration, I'll show you with individual characters. Now Zargon will have studied the quest map and placed the starting pieces in the room where the quest begins. After sorting the cards, you will have the 4 magic decks, 12 cards, 3 to each deck. The wizard takes first choice, the elf takes second choice, and the remaining cards go to the wizard, so the wizard will have 9, the elf will have 3 as the adventure starts. Make sure you've got your dice to hand. And whether you're playing as Zargon or playing as a hero, you do one of the following on your turn. You either move your figures and then perform an action, or perform an action and then move your figure. You can't stop halfway through a move, do an action and carry on your move. A hero rolls 2 dice to move. You complete your move. Each square moved in a horizontal or vertical counts as 1. So we will do 1, 2, 3. To open a door is a free manoeuvre. You replace it with an open door, and then anything the character can see through the door gets revealed for free. You don't have to move the full distance revealed by the dice, but in this case we rolled 4, so we'll move the 1 more into the corridor, and anything the player can see down the corridor, not blocked by the walls, gets revealed by Zargon. Here we have a blocked corridor marker showing the end of the corridor and a closed door. That would be the end of the hero's turn, as their movement is done, and they're not going to take any actions, but actions we'll discuss afterwards. When moving, you always move horizontally or vertically, and you can move through a friendly character. You can't, however, move through an enemy. But in this circumstance, you could move through your friend and around the enemy. If a hero comes to a door and chooses to open it, anything that hero can see in the room or anything in the room gets revealed. In this case, we have a sarcophagus and an orc. The wizard rolls his movement, gets an 8 and bravely chooses to enter the room to fight the orc. The wizard has a choice of actions. The first one we'll discuss is the attack. If the wizard chooses to attack, we look at the attack dice on the card, we roll 1 dice. That symbol means we have hit the orc and potentially caused a point of damage. These other symbols are for used in defence, and if rolled on attack, have no effect. The orc rolls a number of defend dice, 2 in this case, rolls to defend, and in this instance has rolled this, which is the orc's shield symbol, so that damage has not hurt the orc. If the orc could have rolled 2 skulls, the damage would have gone through, and the 1 point of damage would have been enough to kill the orc. Enemies with more than 1 body point, such as a Dread Warrior with 3, use these symbols to indicate how many hits they have taken, and when you reach 3 body points, you take them off. Obviously these characters have more defend dice and more attack dice to roll back in return. Another action a character can take is to cast a spell. So, the wizard is wisely deciding not to move next to the orc and instead is going to cast a fire spell. It says Fire of Wrath. This spell will be cast on any one monster, blasting it with flames. It inflicts 1 body point of damage unless the monster can immediately roll a 5 or a 6 using 1 red die. The monster has rolled a 4, so that would cause the 1 body point needed and remove the monster. There are lots of other spells in the deck, such as Water of Healing, where you can add lost body points back to a hero. For example, Swift Wind, where your hero can roll twice as many red dice as normal the next time they move. worth looking through the spells. Once a room is clear of monsters, an action that heroes can take is to search the room for treasure. This is where you use the treasure deck, you reveal the card and do what it says. In this case, we found a potion of healing. In a bundle of rags, you found a small bottle of bluish liquid. We can take this to add body points back to ourselves. You may, however, find such a thing as a wandering monster, and at the bottom of the quest book, it will tell you what monster gets revealed and attacks the hero. There are special treasure cards called artifacts that you'll come across in later scenarios that will give you special things that will upgrade your characters. The next action is to search for secret doors. So secret doors are hidden portals that can't be seen when you initially go into a room. You need to do the action, you search for it, and then Zargon will place the secret door marker that you can then move through. The next action is to search for traps. Traps can be hidden in rooms or in corridors. When you declare you're searching for traps, whoever's playing Zargon will reveal where these traps are. If Zargon has told you a trap is here, you can try and jump the trap. You've got to have 2 points of movement remaining. You roll a die. Unfortunately, if you roll a skull, you spring the trap. Anything else, you jump the trap, ending here. No tile or icon goes down unless you spring the trap, and you'll suffer the effects of whatever the trap is. As a hero, if you move onto a pit trap square, Zargon stops you by saying you've just stepped into a trap, you've stumbled into a pit, and they will put a pit trap tile on the square underneath your figure and tell you that you suffered 1 body point of damage in the fall. This is the first type of trap. Record that damage on your sheet and then you can carry on. If you are a hero that you find yourself into a pit, you can search the pit for treasure or secret doors as if it were a separate room by itself. And when you're in a pit, you can also attack and defend, but you've got to roll 1 less dice when you're doing it. And that includes monsters as well. Important to remember, especially for the wizard, that you can never go below 1 combat die. Now, if you do spring a pit trap, you can't then disarm it, which is the next action we will talk about. First, let's talk about the other types of traps. Types of traps are falling block traps. If you move onto a falling block trap square, again, Zargon will stop you by saying you've sprung a falling block trap and the ceiling is caving in. If that happens, a falling block trap tile will go underneath your character. You will then have to roll 3 combat dice. Oh dear. For each skull rolled, you will suffer 1 body point of damage, and you can't roll defend dice against these. Once that's happened, you've got to make a decision to which side of the falling block trap you will jump. This now completely blocks the corridor, so choose wisely. A spear trap or a chest and furniture trap doesn't go on the board, but the character playing Zargon, the person playing Zargon, will tell you it's happened. And a spear trap, you must roll 1 combat die, and if you roll a skull, you suffer a damage, and that will end your turn. If you roll a black or a white shield, you avoid the damage, and you can continue with your move. Chest and furniture trap works in the same way, no token goes down. And with a furniture trap, it is linked to a particular piece of furniture in a room. Now, if you've done the action we talked about searching for traps, the markers will not go down, but Zargon will tell you where these traps are. And you can then take the next action we're going to talk about, which is to disarm a trap. To try and disarm a trap, you must own a toolkit. This enables you to try and disarm traps, or be the dwarf, because they naturally know how to disarm traps. To disarm a trap, we assume is here, roll 1 combat die. In this case, you've sprung the trap and you take damage. If you roll shields, the trap is disarmed. The dwarf has a distinct advantage because the dwarf rolls 1 combat die, and on any result other than a black shield, you disarm the trap, so a 5 in 6 chance. Now, some extra combat rules. We've spoken about how movement is done horizontally and vertically, and combat is done the same way. You cannot attack diagonally. So the elf here would have to attack this goblin, couldn't choose to attack this goblin. There are weapons that enable you to do something different, such as the staff, which means you can attack diagonally. So the elf could choose to attack this goblin instead. Other weapons you may come across, rather than the hand weapons and daggers and swords you have, things like a crossbow. This is a long range weapon, gives you an attack strength of 3 combat dice, and you can fire at any monster that you can see. So in this case, either of these goblins you'll be able to shoot at. You would not be able to shoot at the orc because he can't be seen behind the cabinet. You also can't shoot through walls or, if it comes to it, round corners. In Zargon's turn, all the monsters get to activate. Each monster can perform one of the 2 actions though, attack or cast a dread spell if they're being used in the scenario. Dread spells are more powerful versions of the normal spell. Only certain monsters can use them though. Monsters cannot search for treasure, search for doors, move or attack diagonally, pass over heroes, move through walls, open or close doors, or share a square on the game board. So, once you've opened those doors, they stay open, but a monster can't open them to get to you. Now when a goblin moves, they don't roll the dice. They have movement squares printed on their sheet, and these vary depending on characters. Example, 10 for a goblin, or 8 for an orc. So they move, and they attack in exactly the same fashion as the heroes, in this case with a goblin with 2 attack dice. So the 2 attack dice, 1 hit. The hero defends with 2 dice. In this case, not stopping any damage, and you would then mark that damage on your character sheet. As a hero, if you lose your last body point and end up on 0, you are dead. If you don't have a healing spell or healing potion to save yourself, if you die, you're out of the game for the rest of that quest, but you can rename the hero and play as a new character in the next quest. If there are no other heroes in the room or corridor when you die, you lose any equipment you may have taken if you are further on into the completed quests. Now, if you do have in your possession a potion that can restore life, such as a healing potion, you can immediately drink it, and this will then raise your body points above 0, restoring you to life. You can do the same with a spell. Now, if when you're playing as Zargon, and for some reason you don't have enough monsters to put down on the table because the heroes have been running around and avoiding killing monsters, you just need to use another monster of the same colour to represent it and just try and remember. But remember, heroes, kill as many monsters as you can. That's what you're in the dungeon for. Now, to end the quest, you've got to finish the quest goal and get back to the room that contained the stairway that you started from. Once you've done that, you can then end the quest. There's normally a final treasure or a reward for doing that particular quest, and you can split the reward amongst the heroes. You then need to circle the amount of quests you've completed on your sheets. You remember what you're going to play next time, and then you can spend any gold coins you have on equipment from the armory. You can purchase weapons, and remember that your starting body and mind points are automatically restored. Now that was a super fast whistle-stop tour of the basic rules of HeroQuest. Hopefully it'll help you lead your heroes on great adventures. It might inspire you to go pick up the game yourself. There are obviously expanded rules. There are extra rules put into quests, and the upgrade cards and things that you can find will give you more things to be thinking of. But this is the basic rules of how to play HeroQuest. Hope you've enjoyed that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, and I'll see you next time.